about Mars or Jupiter. I asked you if you were ruling a country, would you need an army? And you said no.
Exactly. But if I had to create a word,
yeah, but we don't live in a utopia where you have a fantasy.
I wouldn't need that.
I didn't ask you about your fantasy. From the discussions that we have had, it looks like even you are suspicious about your own Bible.
Yes, of course I am. I agree.
Now your criteria.
And I have no problem to say that in
can
the Bible
I ask you what's your criteria? What's your criteria?
My conscience, okay.
Okay, so in other words, whatever is your whims and desires, you decide.
No, it's not. It's not just.
Well, it is your. If it's your conscience, it's your whims and desires.
No, because the conscience is not about whims and desires.
What is conscience then?
Is something, is a feeling. For example, as I said, if you look at something,
your feeling, your own understanding, your own logic, your own rational.
Always. No, because sometimes because sometimes you got feelings that they takes you somewhere that you feel is not right for you or for the person. You may have the desire to do something which, like, or for example your genes, or like maybe you may have a sexual desire, and you know that maybe it's not right for that person, and so your conscience is telling you no, that's not right.
No, I'm not saying
even if you got your genomes in your biology who is pushing.
But we are not talking about your desires of evil that you don't want to do.
So conscience is a very clear concept, and I think that everyone and also
can the conscience be wrong? Can the conscience be wrong?
By the way, yes. Also the conscience of the people.
No. Can your conscience be wrong?
Yes.
So your assumption about the Bible or the Quran, can it be wrong?
Let me finish this. My conscience be wrong, as well as the conscience of the people who are the authority in Islam, who decide what needs to be considered interpreted this way and what needs
Only
to be
Islam
considered
or Christianity?
interpreted in that way.
What about Christianity?
Is in both.
Okay.
Both.
So in other words, you do not believe in the scriptures. Listen.
In both.
In other words, you do not believe in the scriptures which are from God. You would rather believe your conscience. Is that right?
I try to follow my conscience, and when I see that my conscience is completely against the evidence or whatever, so then I usually follow.
You're not using your conscience only. Let me ask you this question. If you happen to see someone who has been convicted of rape, yes, how would you punish them? Just using your conscience only. How would you punish them? Or would you not punish them at all?
Someone is rape.
Yeah, who's been convicted of rape.
I think we got pretty good law on that. I think they need to go in jail, and they need to be re-educated.
How long for? How long for?
I don't know. I don't know the laws.
Now you're using on other people. Wow, you said your own consciousness. What happened? Why did you suddenly depend on the law of the land?
I would put them in jail until,
for how long?
Until when they done a program to recovery, and I can be.
Oh, you mean a rehabilitation program?
Yes, a rehabilitation program in jail.
Right. How long for?
Until I can see that there is clear. How can I say, improvement, or that person has actually recognized what they've done, and there is actually, we can kind of understand that they
give me a max number of time that you'll put them in that prison. Max, give me a max. In your conscience.
It depends on so many. You need to consider so many different variables. You need to consider what was the state of the person, or what was the social situation. What was he persuaded by someone? What the age? What is the motive? You need to look at many things. You can't just say, oh, for the rape. Rape, it can be in different contexts. It can be in different time. It can, it depends. Has he raped a child of 10 years old, or has he raped a woman who was showing her teeth for like an hour, and she was persuading him to have sex, and then all of a sudden she changed her mind? I mean, you need to consider a lot of different.
Okay, I said, when I say convicted, listen, the only reason somebody gets convicted is because the judge looks at all those factors.
Yes.
And afterwards, they convict him of rape. That's why I told you to save time, because I know you'll go into this psychoanalysis again. I told you he's convicted. Okay? Convicted means he's been found guilty, that he is a rapist. Now the question to you is, how will you punish them? You said a rehabilitation program.
It depends on other variables.
What will give you a scenario? Yeah.
Okay.
A man who's completely mentally stable. Yeah. Okay. He rapes, let's say, a 10-year-old girl, and he's probably like, what?
Let's say he rapes a teenager who's coming from school, who's coming back from
Mentally
school,
stable.
and he rapes her on the way.
Social situation normal.
Yes.
Has both parents, has a beautiful upbringing.
He just
beautiful
felt the
childhood.
urge to rape her
Yeah.
because he's been watching too much pornography, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, which is really a
Sexual
factor in many
material.
cases.
I
Yes.
don't know, like about 20 years of jail and then
20 years
with
of
a
jail?
program of rehabilitation,
That's really good for a pacifist, actually. I would.
That's a spice.
something like that, and then I will.
And let's say-
I will make a program of rehabilitation and.
Let's say he comes out of jail after 20 years, and then he rapes again. What will you do then? Second, reoffending, second
again
time.
in jail, probably.
Another rehabilitation program?
Until,
Another
yeah,
20
until-
years? Let's say he does it again, then what?
No, until no.
And by the way,
Maybe-
this is not unrealistic. Reoffending of many rapists is a real thing. So it's not just not something I'm just telling you out of a hypothetical situation. I'm telling you of real situation because, by the way, in this country they would give maybe 2 or 3 years, not 20 years to a rapist
At that stage, I would probably put them in jail until the end.
until they die. Okay, and that is the law according to you. What is the law according to God? Let's see which one you obey.
So
What's the law according to God in your New Testament for a rapist?
Again, to my New Testament.
Yes.
You still don't understand my point.
I understood
My
your point.
No,
I'm
my
saying
point-
from because your
my
laws.
my point is that I grew up as a Christian, and I think that Jesus is the core of Christianity, and I try to follow Jesus as an example. And I think
So what's his
it's a
example
moral-
for a rapist?
morally-
What's his
morally-
example for a rapist?
Is it
What is the
stoned to death?
punishment?
Oh, it would be better for them to have a cord around their neck, he said.
Say again.
It would be better for them to have a cord, but he didn't say you have to take them and put a cord around their neck.
Where
He
does
didn't
it say that to put a cord around a rapist's neck? Where does it say that?
Oh, you
I think
didn't-
I think you just made that up
No. This is Jesus' word.
for a rapist.
Oh yes.
What did he say again?
He said it would be better for them. No, for who scandalize one of the children. He
Thank
said.
you.
The children, yeah. So he said it would be better for them to
My
have
question to you was about a
cord
rapist.
around their neck.
My question was about a rapist. Once again, from the example of Jesus, from what he has taught you, because
so late, I
because
need
you
to
said
go.
your best example
Before
was Jesus, what would be the punishment according to the New Testament? Because what he just said is actually not in the New Testament. To put him for 20 years in jail and a rehabilitation program, and that's why I told you earlier, whatever ideas that you have about the different ways of life, about the punishments, about the reward, is from your liberal secular upbringing. It's not from the Bible.
And
my
I think,
friend.
and I think that's a great
So your
achievement.
example is
And
not that of
and I
Jesus,
think-
but of
and I-
liberalized
And I think that
person.
our law as a great, we have a great achievement in society whereby we can decide together. I mean, based on our conscience, and try to find the best solution, the best solution of punishment for people who have committed offences, whatever, and try to understand based on the circumstances, based on the information available, and try to decide what is the best, rather than taking a book old like 1,000 and say, oh, this is what is written in the book. That's right. Let's do it.
Why didn't you say that from the
Absolutely-
beginning?
That's
It would have saved us so much
that's
time.
absolutely
If
crazy.
your
This
entire
is just
listen,
absolutely crazy.
if your entire moral compass is based on the liberal
It's
secular
just,
world,
it's
that
just, listen, honestly.
I listen to you. Now listen to
Listen,
me.
this
You
is-
said
this
earlier
is
Jesus
very,
was the
very-
example.
this is
Now you have
dangerous.
completely
This is
backtracked
very
and said
dangerous.
secularism is my example. Have you realized that? For a person who studies psychology, you keep contradicting yourself every time.
No, not
yes,
necessarily.
you said your example was that of Jesus. Did you not say that?
Yes.
And all of a sudden it became the secular world. My God, you have made a complete U-turn from Jesus to a secular world now.
You can
wait.
still- no,
What
wait.
is the example of Jesus
why you
in a rapist situation? You know, for a murderer, for a rapist, for a thief, there is no punishment in your New Testament for these guys. And that's why when I asked you earlier, will you even have an army for your nation of which you are the head of state? You said no. Neither in a secular world you would fail, in a world where Jesus is followed, you will fail. That is what happens to someone who only believes in his own consciousness.
Okay, so what would be the punishment then for someone who is raped?
If you're asking me from the point of view,
yes,
from his
could
no,
you-
wait,
could
wait,
you
wait,
please perform
wait a
exam,
minute,
yeah?
wait a minute.
I would
I
like
asked
to
you,
know.
I asked you this question from the New Testament. Do you have an answer for that or not? For a rapist?
I don't know.
Good. Then go read your Bible before you tell us what is wrong with the Quran or the Bible. You really have to read your Bible. And don't just depend on your own
Again, on
self.
my Bible. I
Your,
don't know
yeah,
what
your
Bible
Bible.
you're talking about.
Because that is what you said. Your whims and desires is what's ruling you, my friend. It's not the Bible. It's not Jesus.
No, I think that whoever follows conscience is on
Anyway, I think we should wrap up now.
Yeah.
You
let's
have been here a long
No,
time.
no,
It's not
but
fair
I
to
think-
you
I think
either.
whoever
But thank you
follows
for your time once again.
The conscience is following.
Your conscience failed you. I told you example already.
fail,
I said
but
it
most of the
because
time it doesn't.
in the liberal
If
sense
you're
you
honest
went
with
against.
yourself, most of the time.
Yeah, but
it
that's
doesn't.
subjective, isn't it?
No, you
When
need
you
to-
say honest with
just-
myself, it's
you just-
subjective.
You just need to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, but what does that mean? Honesty itself, in the case what you're saying, like how much punishment a rapist will get or a murderer will get, are you honest to yourself that you will not need an army? Are you honest with yourself? Are you looking at the real world and then being honest with yourself?
No, in
Saying
this
that-
word, yes, of course I will need it.
Yeah, but that's the question I asked you. Didn't I
this
ask him?
world.
I asked him about this world. I didn't ask you about Mars or Jupiter. I asked you if you were if you were ruling a
if I had to
country,
create-
would you need
no,
an army?
but if I had
And
to
you
create-
said no.
And
Yeah,
now you're
but-
changing it, saying
Exactly,
you need
But if I had to create a word,
Yeah, but we don't live in a utopia,
This is
babe,
a Disney
where you have a
I wouldn't-
fantasy.
I wouldn't need that.
I didn't ask you about your fantasy. I asked about the real world.
in this word, maybe I would have an army.
no,
but I
maybe.
would. But I
Still a
would,
maybe?
But
Still a
okay,
maybe?
I will have an army, but
Thank you.
I wouldn't attack anyone.
If they attacked you, what would you do?
Maybe I would try to defend. Yes.
But that's called using force.
Yes.
Defend means using force.
Yes.
So you'll have to buy weapons, you'll have to train your army, you'll have to show them how to shoot the enemy, and you'll have to shoot the enemy ultimately which is a part of the defense. See what happens when you use your consciousness only? You fail all around, my friend. And you have proved it.
And before
Anyway,
you,
thanks for your time, mate.
Before you said the conversation wasn't getting anywhere, now look, it's got everywhere. Let's be honest.
Right.
No, it's fine. That's
Anyway,
fair
thanks a
enough.
lot, mate, yeah?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Jazakallah khairan.
Thank you.
Okay?
very much.
Take it. Take it.
So,
Thank you. Anyway, I will think about this and.
yes,
I
please
will-
do. That is the whole
will-
purpose of our discussion here. And if I have, if I
mean,
if I have offended you in any way, I do apologize for that.
No.
But the whole
I mean,
purpose is to educate, basically.
I can see that. Of course, there's some place in which I, you know.